Yes, it's a classic number there with David Bowie and Heroes, which is our title track, our number one there. What we believe is certainly the session. A Heroes mate, Mr. Mark Watt. I've got the man from Community Heart in Studio 2, and he's looking absolutely sensational. Let me just get rid of that picture there. But welcome to our show, Mr. Marcus. Can you hear us?
Yeah, it's great to be here on Community Heart with Paul and Mark on 98.9 Northwest FM. And I tell you what, Paul, we have got a night of passion, and we've got three very, very exceptionally passionate people with this tonight. I can't wait for the show. It's just going to be unbelievable. I'm going to get you to do the intros of these three amazing guests, and then we're going to get right into the passion. I can just feel it sort of really growing and sort of going to just take over the whole show.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Well, it's a guest panel. If you've been watching some of the socials over the last couple of days, we're really excited about this guest panel. So let me start by introducing our first guest, Katinda, Ndola, Kayt, McGeary. Hello, Katinda, you there? Can you see us? Yeah, big hi.
I can see you. Hello. It's a delight to be here tonight.
Welcome to the Night of Passion. And also Kayt McGeary. Hey, Kayt.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
Good to see you. Nice colour hair there. You notice
Thank you.
I've missed a couple. And, of course, the very charming man there in the corner there, Arthur Bolkas. Welcome to you, Arthur. Great having you on the panel.
Hello.
All right, so, guys, we are live on Facebook. And the good man in the middle, of course, Mr. Mark Watt. It was a pleasure having you share the studio. And it's separation, though, of course.
Well, obviously, we're back in ISO. We've got all these just restrictions.
Absolutely.
But tonight we're not going to have any restrictions. We're just going to go for it, and we're just going to really go any way our great guests want us to go, because we're just going to talk about passion and really maybe what gets you a little bit stirred up right down deep. That's where we want to go. We want to go deep. And Kayt, I'm just going to go to you first, because I reckon a lot's going on for you down deep. Maybe let's just start with introducing ourselves. So, Kayt, just tell us a bit about yourself and do a little intro.
Oh, geez, thanks. Throw me in the start. I'm hearing you say talk about your passion, then you're like go deep and like there's so much. I guess by trade profession, I'm a career facilitator and a technical knowledge trainer and all this But basically, I help others basically learn new ways of thinking and developing their skills in the workforce, so that they feel more confident in their ability to, professionally develop and build their careers. And I've been in the industry for 10 years, but also on the flip side of that, everybody goes, oh yeah, just another professional development trainer, some corporate. No, not a corporate. I've worked in the guts of Footscray and night times at Dandenong, working with real people, doing real business. And but the other part of my passion piece, I think that's why Mark threw it at me, I'm an ex-Resi kid. So Resi being residential care. So I'm part of a group of people who are care experienced. So I grew up in the care system. And Resi care probably being the worst stereotyped of them all. We were usually predicted that we were going to become criminals or be dead by the time we were 21. So my passion is in now developing social enterprise that helps remove that stereotype and recognise the potential in girls or women who grew up in Resi care, and to remove the criminalised kind of stereotype that sits behind it. So there you go.
Yeah, I love it. I can feel, I can start feeling the passion already just oozing out there, and it's fantastic. I'm just getting really excited here. And I'm going to go to you, Arthur Bolkas, because I know you're a passionate man, and just tell us a bit about yourself and why you're so passionate.
Yeah, well, I'm probably older than all of you, so I've mellowed a little bit, not as passionate. No, I'm still passionate. I'll die passionate, Mark,
Good on you, mate.
Following on from the last comments, I've been passionate about social justice for many, many years. And part of my passion led me from having been in prison when I was young and coming out, it led me to working in the not-for-profit sector just about all my life, and also getting a postgraduate qualification in criminology, because that equipped me, gave me power, if you like, to be able to speak into a whole lot of different contexts, from politicians to street people to prisoners to you name it, and to draw on all of that experience that I had when I was younger and struggling and all the rest of it, to use that today to try and help other people to understand the issues, right? And to actually help the people who are in that mess to try and get out of it. So that's my passion, basically.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you here too, Arthur, with your insights, mate, and your insights there with the young people through your own life experience, mate. We're going to hear a bit more about that a bit later. But look, Katinda, I'm really glad you've come along, because you're going to add something different to a whole mix, and I'd love to hear a bit about you and your passions.
Well, Mark, to start with, when you invited me for this radio show tonight, it said a night of passion. So that kind of threw me off. Okay, what are we talking about here? And then I actually went on the dictionary just to find out what exactly is passion, like just to define that word passion for people. And it says passion is something that you're strongly interested in and enjoy doing that brings you happiness and joy. And for me, it's more about bringing out the greatness in people, bring out all the goodness in them, because there's a lot of sadness, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of life that is just lost, that needs to be found, and people don't know what their purpose is. And that's why my passion is more about giving them that empowerment, inspiration, drive to discover who they are and what they actually contribute to the world, because everybody has a purpose.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And yeah, like the others, we're going to come back to you and your passions, because during COVID-19 and the ISO and all the restrictions and the worry, people need a lot of what you're talking about. And so we're going to share a bit more about that. But Paul, what do you think about our little crew we got here tonight, mate? Can you feel the passion?
Oh, I can feel it. It's oozing out. Let me tell you, it's absolutely oozing out. I'm looking forward to hearing more from the three of you, or all of us. I mean, as well as you, Mark. But let's not forget you, mate. So, what are you passionate about?
Yeah, what's your passion?
Yeah, tell us,
your passion?
Mark, your passion, man.
Well,
Yeah.
I was talking to someone about a passion, and look, I love doing good with others. That's my passion. I really want to help people, probably because of my own backstory. But I don't want to do it alone, and that's why I love working with people. And together we can be better, and that's what I'm passionate about: really helping people, but doing it with others and really trying to make a difference in the community. And that's why Paul and I love Community Heart, because that's what this show's all about: is talking to people that have got the same passions as us and want to make a difference in the life of others. And I suppose what I'd like to get a bit of a comment about you guys about, during this really difficult time, how have you kept your passions alive? How have you sort of got through? And Katinda, I might start with you and we'll go back the other way. How have you sort of got through this time? What's some of the things that you've had to keep alive in your mind to keep your passions alive through this difficult period we've been through?
Well, really, I think my passion is in line with a lot of things. So this time is actually a very good time for me, because a lot of people, it's about educating other people as well as getting myself in that space of trying to understand how do we cope with the fears of the unknown, because that's what we are facing here. We've got a lot of fear of the unknown, fear of not knowing what's tomorrow going to have for us. And it's all about building your strength so that you can be stronger and fortify yourself ready for whatever comes. And then being able to figure out what to do in case anything comes your way, you can actually deal with it.
Fantastic. What about you, Arthur? What's got you through, and how you maintained your passion?
As you know, Mark, I've been writing a book for some years now, and I was fortunate at the end of last year to be one of a number of people across the country to receive a writer's award, which has given me resources, including an established, successful author to mentor me, and all sorts of other assists to try and get my manuscript to a point at the end of this year where it's publishable, and then potentially introduced to some publishers, and I might get a contract and publish my book. Now, why do I want to do that? I want to do that because as I said before, it's an opportunity to distill everything I've learned and know into some writing, into some literature, and produce this book so that it can go into prisons and all across the world, as far as I'm concerned, wherever. And even when I'm gone, you know, there'll be a legacy that I'll have left, something from my experience that you never know could help someone sitting in a prison cell who reads my book, or maybe it's an executive somewhere who knows nothing about that world and they might learn something, or a politician, who knows. So this COVID experience for me hasn't fazed me at all, because if you know anything about writing, writing is a solitary experience. You're on your own. And, you know, one of the good things about prison was I had to learn to be on my own and to occupy my time in a closed environment. And so writing, COVID, yeah, it's been kind of like a blessing, because every day I just go through my little routine. I've got a routine. I keep busy. And as long as you keep busy, to me, that is the secret and the answer to being isolated. As long as you're busy in a positive way, not a negative way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's good advice there, mate. And
It's great, mate.
great, David. What about you, Kate? How have you kept your passion alive during this time?
RuPaul Drag Race. On stand. It's been my new addiction. I started watching RuPaul Drag Race, and anytime I need to get away, because, like, listen, let's be real. When this all hit, for me, 2020 was a big year. It was the year that I was walking away from very high-paying kind of training contracts and a certain way of part of my career to move into this social enterprise approach. That's how I met Mark. And by being connected, because I've gone and I'm identifying myself, which is a big thing, because there's a lot of judgment and stereotype around the groups of women where I come from. So I've been tapping into the organisations who have been helping care experienced people, care leavers. It's global. It's in the UK, Scotland, etc. Then the fires hit. And then my cash flow kind of went up in flames. It was like, and then COVID hit, and then it was like that wiped out the entire schedule, right? So I'm like, oh shit. And so obviously the government threw around money, and I was eligible for that, so that was all cool. But it really threw my plan on that networking and connecting with people, and I found myself in the first few weeks actually sitting very still and almost not moving. And I think I had the TV on too much. I'm not one to watch the news. And I just felt this kind of the energy that my whole thing, I was frozen like a stunned bunny, because my whole thing was like, wait till it settles. Now, without unpacking it all, I come from a very different world to a lot of people, a little bit like you, Arthur, that being in jail, being in resi care is not quite there. So we grew up with bars on the windows and very isolated. And that was my entire teens from 13 to 18 beyond. So the isolation side didn't bother me at all, because there's times where I actually I work with so many people as a speaker and as a trainer that I need to disconnect from people because it becomes a little bit overwhelming. It's my way of balancing. And then all of a sudden it was like, hang on, there's no one anywhere. So it was really interesting for me to find that shift into, because as a career facilitator for what my profession, how do I then help disengage young people think about the future of work? Right? It's for me, it's like I can't point him into a direction. So it was really interesting. I came within myself. RuPaul Drag Race. Oh, I know that everybody's like, really? But it was my escape. It was about being different. And it was about loving yourself, like watching these men kind of become, create themselves into drag queens. I'm sitting there like this woman going, they're more beautiful than me. These men are more beautiful than me. Right? And then I'm like, how are they doing the makeup? And it gave me some epiphanies. And now I've been able to connect to the right people to help redevelop my social enterprise. And one of the things was I realized, because a lot of people call me special, and I don't do that. I kind of go, nah, I'm not special. If you were to hear other people's stories where I come from, I've got kind of nothing. If anything, I'm a bit privileged in a way, because I was tough. I knew how to fight, and I didn't get into certain areas that is assumed. So for me, I actually worked out that being called special was a good thing. And that's been my piece of this COVID. It's like I am special, and I will create something while I can in this quiet time. I doubt I'll be writing a book because I talk too much. But I'll come out the other side of it, really honing in with my business piece, with my social enterprise, to take it through to 2021, and to keep on par. I won't stay down. You can't keep a resi girl down, mate.
Well, look, certainly we got lots to talk about tonight. And if you're listening and you're watching, you're going to put a question down for these guests, because in the second half hour, we're going to take your questions. Any area you want us to talk about, we're going to talk about. We're going to continue to sort of look at our passions. But what I want to do now, Paul, is I want to put these people on the soapbox. I think it's time to get on your soapbox and really
get on one of them?
Yeah, you're on the soapbox.
I think it's important that we get on our soapbox tonight and we talk about one thing that we really want to get out there. You know, we've been sort of dying to say it, and here's our chance to really get on our soapbox and make a statement tonight on the show. So what I want to do, I'm going to start off with after this time. And we're going to get him on his soapbox. Now, can't go for half an hour on your soapbox. This is a pretty short time. We've only got another 5 minutes left on this part, but 5 or so minutes left. But get on your soapbox, Arthur Bolkas, and tell us really what you want to get out there tonight. Yeah, let's let it out, mate.
Come on, mate. Head it out.
Well, look, the truth is I think I kind of partially answered that before. Like Kayt probably will say, well, I kind of answered that. But, well, when I think about, my fundamental kind of self and what really drives me, it's to make a difference in the world, a positive difference.
That's right.
And there's all sorts of ways we can do that. And so I look at me, right, as an individual, and I think, well, what can I do? Okay, I'm not going to be the Prime Minister of Australia. I'm probably not going to become famous. So what can I do? And I think to myself, well, what I can do is try and make a difference within the family that I have to begin with. Because if you don't make a difference there, then forget about all the other stuff. So to me, it's right under my nose. First port of call is my kids, my sons. I've got 2 boys, as you know, Mark. And one of the most beautiful things I think I've achieved as a human being, and my greatest success, is that I've got a good relationship with my 2 boys, and that's priceless. And I just wish that there were more people out there, because I've worked in families and all sorts of scenarios over the years, and I wish there were more people who invested time in one another, beginning at the family level. So that's my passion. If I can get that right, and then flowing out from that, my relationship with my mother. My mother's 91. I was talking to her today. Beautiful lady, had a hard life. There was a time in my life where I didn't like my mother much. We weren't connected. Again, one of my greatest achievements in life is that I've been able to foment a really good relationship with Mum. And I love her and she loves me. So everything that flows out of that, to neighbours, to colleagues, to people out there in the community, to the wider world, all starts from that little basis, that little place, that little nucleus. So to me, that's my passion. Begin in the family unit and extend outwards to the world in whatever way you do that.
Yeah,
that's great.
Mate, fantastic stuff, buddy. And loving those things, especially focusing on relationships. You know, that's so important. And Katinda, I'm going to go over to you now to really let us have what you want to share on your soapbox.
Well, for me, it's really almost like saying, actually, I got this written down because I thought if I don't remember it, it's quite important. And it was talking about, can you imagine how quickly we could heal the people of the world if more of us were using their passion, their spiritual gifts like prayer, love, laughter, dancing, singing, storytelling, and
Beautiful.
and spending time in silence, especially
Absolutely.
if we were doing these things together. Like if we were here today and we decided to have a moment of silence just to go inward, or if we were telling each other stories, or things that we can share with the world, because that's the only thing I think we heal by experiencing through other people's human experiences. So that for me is
Very
really
good.
important. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's awesome.
Like it. Yeah.
Well done.
It's
Well said.
we want to hear more of that, Katinda. For certainly the world needs to hear more of it, and just great, so great having you on the show tonight. Kayt, just quickly to find out, because as we come to the end of this bit, what's your passion? You're on your soapbox.
My soapbox. I think, as I said, I was just on it. But I guess my passion is about connecting care experienced women to career opportunities and creating community. I put together a thing. It's about 3 R's. It's about raising awareness, because what people don't understand is we don't identify ourselves because there's a lot of shame associated to it. So my message and my passion is about mature age care experienced people standing up and identifying themselves so that we can create a vision of success for the young people who are currently in care, who don't see when the statistics tell them that they're going to end up in jail, or they're going to end up teen mothers, or they're going to end up on drugs or mental health issues, and they don't see that we are still here on the other side of it. So my 3 R's are raising awareness. We are still here. So if I can get more and more people to be able to at least identify themselves like they do overseas here in Australia, then those kids will know that that we can succeed and that we can move past what it is that's presented to us as cared for children in state care, to remove the stereotype and lose the oppressive language, both sides, whether it's the social welfare organisations constantly marketing cared for children in a negative sense. That to me is detrimental to what we're trying to have these kids understand, that they are valuable, that they are worth something, that they do have potential, but they're being marketed in the negative sense, and it becomes their oppressive language. I can't do that because I don't have a family. I won't make it. I'm not smart enough to go to school. I can't do this. I can't do that. We've got to change the language if we're going to make any kind of difference to these kids. And then thirdly, the 3rd R is recognizing potential, the transferable skills and the superpowers that all these people have. You can hear, I know that I sound passionate because everyone says you are McGeary, and it's so true, because the transferable skills from living independently. I had my own house at 16, not quite 16. I was 15.9. I had to pay my rent, pay my bills, get myself to school. I had to cook for myself, clean up after myself. I didn't have any parents telling me what to do, how to do it. I had no hugs, no nothing like that. I basically forfeited my childhood. Now, that's still happening 30 years later. That's still happening. But the transferable skills and the superpowers that I was able to utilize in order to create success. Now, success being that I'm one of the best facilitators in my industry. All right. And it took me a long time to say I'm one of the best. But it took hundreds of testimonials.
Yeah, well done.
I was the best. And I don't have a degree. Right? I've got to get a graduate certificate. But I don't have a degree, but I worked my ass off. Secondly, I've raised my son on my own when they said I couldn't. Now, he's 22 years old nearly, sitting in the other room. He's a professional wrestler. He has a degree. He has the diploma. He is well balanced and he's a good man. I didn't need a man to raise a good man. Okay, so there's all there. That's my passion point, is the 3 R's, is to raise awareness that we are still here, remove the stereotypes and lose the oppressive language of people who are from care, especially women and young girls, and recognize their potential and transferable skills and the superpowers that they have, that they actually give to each other, and it comes from that experience. Stop telling them that they're going to be mental cases and that they're never going to amount to anything, because it's bullshit. I said it. Sorry.
Good on you.
Wow.
Good on you.
I'm passionate.
We've got a passionate crew on tonight. Fantastic insight. Everyone's given a lot to this. We're gonna start ending this segment. We're gonna come back in a few minutes. Arthur, did you want to say something before, just to add something in there?
What's there to say? I like what I hear from both the. Can I call you ladies? Is that politically correct, or is there another term I have to... No, I'm serious. I was at a meeting recently and I wasn't sure what to say, so I sort of... anyway, women, the women here in the
fine.
Yeah, okay. You're both been great in your respective ways. I liked the kind of the spiritual stuff that I heard about, because I talk a lot about that. I've been working in schools for this is my 20th year, and I still do it. Would you believe it? And I talked a lot to kids about having, you know, balance in their lives in the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual realm. So I liked Katinda, what you said, what you were alluding to there, very important. And by the same token, Kayt, that was excellent. And mate, you're a bloody icon, aren't you? Because you've been there and done that. And I really love meeting people like you, because it just goes to show things can change and you can make a difference in your own life and in the lives of others. And here are you, like me, taking a shit experience and drawing all the stuff you've learned out of it that's good, because it's not all bad. You learn some good things.
Yeah, it's not all bad. Like it's not the greatest situation to be in, but it's not.
No. But you're using that to help other people who live in a different world. But you know what? A lot of them have the same issues that existed in that other world too. So all strength here. Yeah, it's been
great.
good.
Well done.
All right, as we finish up, I'm gonna go to Katinda. I'm gonna ask Katinda a hard question, but I know that she's great at coaching people, and a lot of people listen to tonight, this segment of the show, the first half hour, and they've got a lot of good things out of it. What do you say to people that might have listened tonight and are grabbing things out of this? What should they do now? Like, okay, we've heard a lot of great things. You guys have said fantastic things. Now what? What would you say to them, Katinda?
So first of all, one thing I want to say is someone once said, tough times don't last, but tough people do. So like I can see in the case here, you've got a good example of how tough times have been a lesson. Something was learned from that. So people get stronger and better, and every day is a better day. So I think with a lot of people listening tonight, one thing they can start actioning if they want to do, you know, if you want to live your life with passion like we all do, you need to find what's your passion. What is it you love doing? What is it when you're doing, time just goes past and you don't even notice? And if you can get that first, that'd be a nice, good place to start. Because most people tend to say, I don't know what my purpose is. But when they play music, they love it. And they don't realize maybe that's their passion. So it's maybe more articulating better, what is it that I love doing and makes me feel amazing, makes me happy when I'm doing it. You know, that's the first place people should think of going.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to end this bit now, Paul. Back to you, buddy, but I really want to thank the guests. We're going to come back in a few minutes. Make sure you got your questions, your comments. Stay with us. We're only going to be gone for a few minutes, and then we're going to be back with the three of the most passionate people I know here for you tonight.
Absolutely. Taking it away here on the Community Heart with Paul and Mark, here on 98.9 Northwest FM. We'll go with a track, Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine. I think you'll enjoy that one there if you can hear that. We'll be back with the guys.